For 20 years, the names of Paul Candies and Leonard Hughes have appeared together on the side of winning race cars. More than just a successful team, Candies and Hughes embodied the dual spirit of funny car racing. A love of competition, the closer the better. A love of experimenting, the quicker the better.
Actually, it was in super stock days. Then we went to an injected funny car. Then we went to a fuel funny car, and we stayed there for a few years. And then when I quit driving, we went to a dragster with Richard Tharp.
In 1976, Richard Tharp drove the Candies and Hughes dragster to a Winston World Championship, winning 2 national events, including the U.S. Nationals. In 1981, Mark Oswald took over the driving duties of the Candies and Hughes dragster. The next year, Mark won 2 national events and finished second in the Winston point standings. For 1983, Candies and Hughes switched from a dragster to a funny car. Oswald was instantly competitive, and the team again finished second in the Winston points.
At that time, it was an economic reason. The top fuel class was kind of at a standstill there. It wasn't really growing very rapidly, and we had a big budget. You know, we were spending a lot of money on the race car, and the funny cars were getting all the major sponsors at that time.
The battle for the Winston World Championship in 1984 was one of the closest in history. As the season closed out in Pomona, California, 3 drivers were still in contention. Mark Oswald held the points lead, but he was closely followed by Kenny Bernstein, and Billy Meyer. As eliminations began, all eyes concentrated on these 3 cars. Meyer was able to get by Jody Smart in the first round to stay in the hunt. Oswald, who held a 2-round lead over Bernstein in the points, beat John Force to advance. For Bernstein, his hopes of a world championship ended in the first round, the victim of a Sherm gun hole shot. Still nursing an outside chance of passing Oswald in the points, Meyer got by Poldy in the second round. But Oswald did the same, beating Tom McEwen. In the semifinals, Meyer met up with Sherm Gunn, who had followed his defeat of Bernstein with a victory over Don Prudhomme in the second round. With Meyer out of competition, the World Championship was officially Mark Oswald, but there was still a race to be won. In the finals, Sherm Gunn, the giant killer, beat Oswald. Mark had lost the battle, but won the war. He was the new Winston World Champion.
Naturally, when you're racing the guys that have a chance to beat you, it's all on the line right there, and it all came down to the last race, so it was really satisfying to win.
That's one of the things I have at home is we all get world championship rings, and it's a very important part of your life.
Mark Oswald, Paul Candies, and Leonard Hughes won their Winston Championship on the basis of solid, consistent performances. But in 1985, that consistency fell off dramatically, and Oswald soon found he was having a hard time just getting through the first round of elimination.
Came back in '85, like you say, we just won the World Championship. We had a good combination, and we came out there in the first race, and the car ran real well, and we thought we were on our way again, and then we started having a fuel system problem, and we just could not correct it. I mean, we had new fuel pumps, and we could get it to run good we made good runs at every event, but we couldn't put them all together. We lacked consistency, and we fought it, I'd say through 3/4 of the year, and we just did terrible. We'd get put out first round, or we'd qualify well, get put out first round or second round at every event.
You have to run good, you have to run fast, but you have to, like I say, you got to be consistent. To go out there and make one big number is not what you're looking for. You're trying to run as hard as you can and repeat 4 or 5 times, or not just to go out and run one good time and then that's it.
By the start of the 1986 season, the Candies and Hughes car was thundering again, and the team found the consistency they needed to win races. Through trial and error experimenting, Paul and Leonard and Mark found the right combination to be able to run with the pace setters. The secret of success in racing is consistency, and the key to consistency is research and development. It takes time, money, and energy to modify parts or build your own, but it is an effort Mark Oswald and Leonard Hughes are willing to make in the pursuit of excellence.
It goes all the way from the chassis on down to the motor. You know, we get a race car completely built, and we darn near rebuild the whole thing before it ever goes out. It's just the way things go. And like the bodies, our bodies are built, you know, from scratch. We do it from all the way, bring it up from making the plug and the mold all the way to a finished product. Same way with the engine and driveline components. Everything you get needs to be modified or worked on.
Every week you're doing something different. Every run you're trying something different, and that's the way it's always been. You just keep trying all the time. We never go up there with the same thing twice until eliminations. Then we decide what we thought was best, and then we'll go from there.
I think my main attraction with drag racing, period, is the fact that it's not restricted quite as much as other forms of racing. I like the idea of being able to work on new projects and be more or less unlimited, and that's about the closest thing to unlimited racing you have anymore.
For most teams, computer monitoring systems have been a boon, helping them in their R&D work. But Leonard Hughes is of the old school. And while he recognizes the computer is here to stay, a part of him longs for the good old days of racing.
Well, to tell the truth, it actually helps. It does. But myself, I rather the old seat-of-the-pants racing, where the guy goes out there and makes a decision, and that's how you win the races. Who can come up with the best ideas, or who can make the right decision at the right time. I always like that, but this computer stage is here, and it's here to stay.
With the computer taking much of the guesswork out of engine tuning and clutch setup, funny car racing has become much more competitive. For a team like Candies and Hughes, this means having to run all out all the time.
Anybody that qualifies for the field is a potential to beat you and can step up at any time, so you have to run as hard as you can all the time.
I like it like this. This is the first time in years that there's 10 cars out there competitive instead of 1, 2, or 3. We've had years that we was ahead of everybody. We've had years we've been behind. But now the top 10 cars are all the same, and I kind of like it like that.
Winning will always be the easiest way to define success. But for Mark Oswald, Paul Candies, and Leonard Hughes, style also counts for something. As a team that embodies the spirit of funny car racing, they have proved that art is in the approach as well as the result.